Should we talk about ketone first?
Absolutely. Looking for clarity? Ketone IQ can help you feel sharper, more focused, and ready to take on any task. Visit ketone.com/JillyB for 30% off your first subscription order and unlock the benefits of drinkable ketones, allowing you to return to an ancient source of energy on demand.
According to PubMed, 87% of people see an improvement in brain network stability after drinking Ketone IQ.
Proven to support endurance and recovery, ketone supplements are trusted by the world's top performers, from Navy SEALs and Tour de France cyclists to pro athletes across major sports.
Ketone IQ ships free inside the US, and it's backed by a 60-day money-back guarantee. So ride the ketone wave risk-free at ketone.com/JillyB for 30% off your first order.
And they just came out with a ketone plus caffeine product. Super exciting.
Super exciting. So ketone up.
What's up, pod listeners? We have an awesome episode chock full for you. We have a note from Jill's newest partner, aka her sister, Natalie. We have a special guest. We have the cure for vertigo. We've got MLP mind games and madness from the draft formerly known as Shuffle, and all the deets from the $200 million Joola lawsuit in our new paddle segment called Paddle Talk. So stick around, you don't want to miss a minute.
It's Pod 44, Kristen, and we've got lots more in store.
Hey!
You tuned in now to this pickleball life. I'm K-Dubs and Jilly B's my wife. She's the pro and I've got the filler. She's sweet to me, but on the court she's a killer. Unadulterated and efficiently bringing you the best and worst things in PB. Tell your friends and stay for another. And no one loves us more than your mother. One thing's for sure, when hit and you're addicted. Grab a pile, grab a court, don't resist it. So click subscribe, let's go, let's get cracking. Theme song done, let's go, let's get laughing. This pickleball life.
Welcome, everyone. So many new listeners. I love adding to the Joyrider family, Kristen.
It's a fun club.
So if you are new, don't forget, pump that subscribe button.
Follow us on Spotify or Apple, wherever you listen. And if you're watching, you're on YouTube, pump that subscribe button and make sure your notifications are on. We love making these episodes for you, and we hope you enjoy them as much as us. But it really helps the pod to keep those subscribers coming.
Hundo P.
Thank you also to our previous guest, Jason Aspis, for coming on our last pod. And we have another exciting guest this week. And we're really filling up our schedule for the summer. We got some exciting people coming on the pod.
We have some really big names coming on the pod. You guys are asking the tough questions, and we're going to help get them answered for you. So you're asking, we're listening. And yeah, huge thanks to Jason. I wanted to remind our listeners, since there's so many new Joyriders in the TPL fam, that our background is a little bit different than your average pro player. So Kristen and I worked at Duper. I was CEO of Duper actually 2 years ago. After that, I was chief of staff at Major League Pickleball. So I was one of kind of the earliest employees at those two entities. So all of our perspectives.
And you were a gold card holder in the first rendition of gold cards. And in fact, you actually helped kind of create the gold card system in the first.
I said that we should model it after PGA Tour cards, and Brian Levine was like, "That's a good idea." And so, yeah, helped create the gold cards. And then when things started going sideways in the merger, and they were asking players to take these obscene reductions and only asking MLP players, we started, and I helped co-found the Player Collective. So everything we talk about when we have Jason on and when we have these guests on, we always try and do it with the most objective lens possible, while also not ignoring the fact that we have these like deep backgrounds and experiences with these cast of characters. And if you haven't listened to our podcast from Nationals last year in November with Leah Jansen, Dawn Stanley regarding paddles, I think that it would behoove you guys, if you were interested in the last episode, to go back and listen.
Yes, definitely. So did you want to, with that said, go through some of the great comments from last week?
For sure.
All right, let's start with David J7516. His comment was, Diescu got screwed. How many times has the PPA changed a rule, etc., for its top players, literally with a 1 day notice? Remember, the PPL decided on a number for grit, and then PPA lowered it because many of its top players would have failed. side note, they did that for the deflection test. Did they also do that for grit? Or is he just mixing the two up?
I think you might be mixing the two up.
Either way, his comment continues, no matter what this guy says, Connor is in charge, so the source is still rotten. It's been a messy ride over the last 4 years. Quote, because of his boss, not once have I seen a decision by the PPA that was for the players or the sport. Quote, what we have then and what we have now, end quote, production was much better 4 years ago. The sport was so much more simple and genuine 4 years ago. Because of the PPA, the sport has taken at least a dozen steps backwards. On YouTube this weekend was the worst video quality I've ever seen in anything. Now on Pickleball TV, the quality was excellent. So definitely some interesting perspectives from viewers other than ourselves. Do you want to read any more comments?
Yeah, no, I thought when Jason addressed the advisory council and you asking like, hey, isn't there kind of a conflict of interest if you have paddle companies on this advisory council? And he said, well, they're not like making the decisions. Well, obviously they're going to have a say. Otherwise, why do you have an advisory council? So I thought that Benjamin Anderson Pickleball commented on YouTube something pretty insightful. He said, having a select few major paddle companies on the advisory council, air quotes, for UPAA is a huge red flag for me. It creates a bad incentive structure. Even if the companies aren't voting for rules, they'll be incentivized to make hot paddles because hot paddles sell. And they'll be incentivized to put pressure on the UPAA to write rules that allow for those paddles they want to make. Jason's answer when pushed on this topic downplayed the role of those companies, but that concerns me even more. Why even form such a board then? I hope I'm wrong about this, but I am concerned. USAP is a mess right now, but I'm actually more optimistic about their future.
Yeah, definitely views that I do share. You want to keep going with any other comments, or?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah, let's keep it moving.
Hey, you guys, if you love tacos, sunshine, margaritas, learning how to play better pickleball, and K-Dubs and Jill, I have some good news. My Tres Palapas Los Cabos Mexico camp, which has been sold out, has 2 open spots. We did fill a couple openings from the wait list, and that's October 28th through 30th. You can learn more at jillybeepickleball.com/camps.
So much fun. Don't miss out.
Kristen's bringing her ukulele. She's going to sing you guys.
And as always, if you're an active pod listener and you want to send us an email with your birthday or special announcements, we will throw those in at the end of the pod. So make sure you stay tuned and email us. Yes, at thispblife@gmail.com.
Okay, you guys, in case you missed it, my sister and I are playing today. Our time is 6:45 p.m.
Oh my gosh.
Not on a streamed court. Today is Tuesday, June 25th. I'm also playing with Jack Monroe. We made it through qualifying. Still can't believe we're in qualifying.
Yeah, now you get to play Jack's other partner today.
Julian Arnold and Maggie Brasha. Oh, man. So my sister and I are playing together today, and Kristen has a little message from my sister to our Joyriders.
Dear Jill's podcast listeners, all 3 of you, Jill asked me to write a little note about our upcoming tournament together. Jill is going to have a heavy load, but she's the best out there, so I know she can carry me. I had a lot of fun practicing with her in the last few days. I am endeared by Jill's pre- and post-workout routines. All the vitamin supplements, 10 hours of sleep a night, lotions, elixirs, creams, etc. Tonight, I will be having 3 glasses of wine, fried tacos, my fave, with extra cheese, and I will sleep anywhere from 4 to 6 hours with 2 to 3 children in my bed. My and Jill's tournament prep may be vastly different, but we share a competitive spirit, and I can't wait to put it to the test this week. Thanks to all of you pod listeners for supporting Jill. You guys deserve medals for listening to her for an hour every week. Fondly, Naki.
That was my favorite line. You guys deserve medals for listening to us, or to me, for an hour every week. You know.
P.S. Wait.
Oh, there's a P.S.
P.S. I'm older but prettier.
Wow. You guys should have heard her maid of dishonor speech at our wedding.
Oh my God.
It was
so good.
It is epic. People still talk about it. She is the roast master.
Yes, I believe she mentioned how competitive you are in things that you think you can't even compete in, like cooking and gardening, reading.
So funny. You have to tell us about the mayor of Indio, Kristen.
Oh my gosh. in India, which is very close to where we live in Indian Wells, the mayor accidentally shattered someone's nose with an overhead on the pickleball courts.
I think that's one voter lost for the mayor.
Yikes. Oh my gosh. I hope that person is okay.
Kristen, in case you missed it, Joola did file their lawsuit, but we may have missed a zero on it. It's 200.
Oh my gosh.
Not $20 million.
I know. We went from 3 to 5 to 20 to 200. That escalated very quickly.
Well, I wasn't tabulating future damages. And the fact that, like, hey, if you bought a paddle and now you've been burned, are you ever going to buy a Joola again? So, wow.
For sure. I actually have had people tell me I'm never buying Joola ever again. So
we're going to
we'll
talk more about this on our new segment. You guys, we have a new segment called Paddle Talk. It's like pillow talk.
Paddle talk.
But no pillows.
But that being said, I have also said I'm never going to buy something on Amazon ever again. And that did not happen.
Really? Did you ever say that? Because all you do is buy from Amazon.
Yeah, it was a few years back.
I remember hearing that.
Years back. All right. So Rob Nunnery broke the news on the platform formerly known as Twitter that the UPA would be charging paddle companies up to $100,000 per year and $5,000 per paddle tested for certification in 2025.
So tell our listeners, for reference, what does USA Pickleball charge for paddle cert?
Yeah. So right now, to register as a manufacturer is $495, and about $1,000 per paddle, depending on if you expedite the process or not.
Wow.
So we figure that probably most paddle companies are spending between, $1,500 and $15,000 maybe on the high side if you're like a Selkirk or a Joola on paddle certifications per year.
Yeah.
So that is another added zero for some of these companies.
Look, I don't think Rob is one to tweet something out that he hasn't had validated, at least in some aspect. And I don't think that where there's smoke, there's fire. I think that makes sense that they would do something just like this. Jason was quick to hop in and say, if there were an announcement about this, it would be coming from me. So I can tell you that this is factually untrue. But I bet it is something they're batting around and thinking about. And as one paddle manufacturer owner wrote me, he said, this is only going to hurt the players because any funds that paddle companies could spend towards sponsoring players, if we're going to have to pay that to UPA, it's just you that's going to hurt.
Well, yeah,
that
that's certain. But I think who's going to get hurt more are the emerging brands. You're going to maybe just make illegal paddles and be like, well, I can't afford to be certified with the UPA, so I'll just make paddles that are only USA Pickleball approved or just not approved at all. I'm just going to make paddles, and 30 million people don't play tournaments, so who cares?
This is also why, we've talked about this before and we'll talk about it more, and we're going to have some paddle owners on our podcast actually to talk about how do you stay competitive in a field literally where everyone and their mother is starting a paddle company or wants to build a paddle. That's why I think it's going to be like golf clubs. And in 5 years, there's going to be 5 paddle companies?
Right. That's exactly what I'm saying is we're going to have this conglomeration of the big companies, and they're either just going to buy up the small ones or the small ones will just be defunct. So again, hope that's not true. Like we said, Jason's quick to say no. So even if they were planning on it, this might be the inspiration for them to lower the price. But we'll see. Oh, man. So any other in case you missed it?
No, ma'am.
You wanna catch everyone up on our last few days, weeks?
Yeah, I cured my vertigo. It was called BPMM, benign paroxysmal something.
I can't believe you didn't put that in the notes.
Sounds like a boy band. BPMM.
Totally. They're really big in
beats
Korea.
Beats per minute. No, it's so crazy, you guys. There's something called like ear crystals, and your little ear crystals can get out of whack. So I went to my physical therapist, and he saved my life and took my head and put it through a series of turns. And you feel like you're going to faint when you have this, and your head gets tilted in a certain direction, and then all of a sudden you're totally fine. This is the craziest thing.
So weird.
It was so weird.
So weird. I missed the original curing from our physical therapist, but Jill had me put her through the exercises a few times. So I guess I didn't completely fail because she's been vertigo free.
I feel super normal again. And we went to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, turns out
Gamma.
Pittsburgh is awesome. Pitt is the shiitake mushrooms. Pitt is a really cool city with really great vibes and really LGBTQ friendly. We had amazing weather. There's rivers. There's hills. There's old houses
My
that are
favorite
really
movie
like
of all time
Victorian.
called Happiest Season was filmed there.
Totally. Yes. I thought I had finished after the 20th time we watched that movie, seeing the streets of Pittsburgh, and there they were again.
So Gamma is headquartered in Pittsburgh. So we went and we met the team, and it was amazing. It was super fun to film all sorts of content. They have courts right outside their office, literally behind the office building.
12 courts.
And it's this sprawling campus right on a river. Mm-hmm. They call it Pig Island.
Almost an island. Yeah.
This whole island, that's all things Gamma. 2 tennis courts, ton of pickleball courts.
Do you want to tell them about Pig Island? Or is that TMI?
Probably TMI.
Okay. But yeah, we filmed some content, made some commercials, got some stills, did
And
some
such a cool company culture. We took
stuff,
these
tested some paddles.
So they had us take PI tests, this personality index test,
Yeah.
to basically help everyone understand how to work with you better. So like I was thinking mine was going to come back, like, you know how there's all the initials, like, you know, you're a promoter. Kristen's a promoter.
Mm-hmm.
Thought mine was just going to come back like raging bitch. But it came back, I don't know. What was my name?
the venturer, the one with like a ship, like venturing out into the
But
sea.
it's really cool. So instead of like trying to change employees, instead of like working with people to alter them, it's more working with the employees to understand how everyone's personality indexes and their brains are wired. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, really cool. And it's a lot of kind of how you react to things and how you process, and whether you're like a talk it out person or you're someone who needs to like go in a corner and be silent and then come back and have dissolved all the information into one cohesive piece. So
And we met with
liked
the
it.
product team. We tested paddles that, you know, might be out in a year, 2 years time. So it was so cool. We went down, I think there were 12 of us, 12 paddles, and then a sheet of paper so everyone could write down their thoughts anonymously.
Totally.
Right?
Mm-hmm. No, it was not anonymous. You tried to make it anonymous, but you were the only anonymous person, so they figured it out real quick.
And so we'd rate it on like, you know, power, spin, overall, and then you could put your thoughts down. And so it was really cool to feel like you're, you know, touching the technology of the future.
Yeah, I was really excited. We've got, you know, the Airbender 13 that Jill plays coming out soon. I play the 16. They're also going to make a 19.
That was crazy.
And I was like, wow, this is so thick. I didn't even realize that the Selkirk Lux is 20. So if you think 19 is thick, I guess it's more normal than I realized. So look out for that coming.
We
soon,
talked
too.
about when we were meeting with the marketing team, like doing a demo program. Like, I don't know why more paddle companies don't do demo programs. And then I found out for the first time, Gamma actually offers a 30-day return policy on all their paddles, even if you use them. So all you're doing is paying for the shipping back. That's it. So that's basically a demo program. So with that said, go out and try the Airbender or the Obsidian RCF. You can use code JillyB25. I only get 25% off for like another 45 days. So
get on it.
If you've been wanting to try a new ball or a new paddle, go try them because it's totally risk-free.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
One
that.
cool thing, and I think people underutilize this, is the end cap weights. Both the Obsidian and the Airbender have end cap weights. They just pop right out, and you can swap out the end cap for counterbalancing.
It also has a weight you can put in the throat. So I started putting the Shockbuster weights in the throat, and I kind of thought at first, like, okay, is this just like marketing? And everyone asked me at headquarters, have you tried the weight in the throat? Have you tried the weight in the throat? And there's 2 holes in the throat. One of them you put a weight in, so you still get the benefits of the air going through the top hole, so a little more aerodynamic. But then you can put the weight somewhere where you literally can't do this. If you own just a regular paddle at home, how are you ever going to put weight in the dead center of the paddle?
Right.
And if you think about it,
Makes
that's where you'd
sense.
want your weight. Why would you want your weight on the sides of your paddle? Like, if you can have it right there. So I put it there, and instantly I increased my sweet spot, and I was hitting the ball harder. And I was like, oh my God, why didn't I do this like right when I got the paddle? That was so dumb of me.
Totally.
At least I'm honest when I do something dumb.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, people would have to like unwrap their grip and try and put lead tape in the grip itself or around the top of the grip. So it's nice to be able to pop it in and out so easily and not have to peel a bunch of lead tape and have it like scraping off and tape over it. But
fun fact, I didn't know this before, but Gamma was founded 50 years ago by a gentleman with a physics background, and he blasted gamma rays, actual radiological waves, on tennis string to strengthen the gut.
Yeah, because he had so much issues with his own tennis rackets, and he was trying to sell this concept to all these big companies like Wilson and Yonex and everyone, whoever existed at the time, and they were like, yeah, no, we don't think that's big. And then he was like, I guess I gotta do it myself, and that's how Gamma got formed.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, really exciting kind of stuff back there in their history, not just your average pickleball company.
So I was on Conversations with DJ Young. So that podcast released last week. If you guys haven't checked out DJ Young's Conversations with DJ, I highly recommend it. He has done a ton of growing up. He just had a baby, you guys.
I know.
I cannot believe
I didn't even know he had a baby.
And now we're on the same MLP team. So we're going to talk about that later. And I want to give DJ a super warm welcome to the Hessecore family, another Hessecore player. So if you guys haven't tried Hessecore yet, I feel bad for you, genuinely, because you are missing out. And it's now Thomas Wilson playing it, DJ Young, Hayden Patriquin, Jaume Martinez-Vic. I've seen Tyson McGuffin with it on his grip. So we're all playing Hessecore, and you can use code JillyB and go test it out.
But yeah, super excited to have DJ on your MLP team. Beta Breakers, let's go.
Can we talk about MLP right now? Like the madness?
Oh my God, I just did it again. I always say that Beta Breakers because that's the race in San Francisco where you like wear costumes that we actually competed in.
Okay.
It's Bay Area Breakers.
So Kristen is now the assistant general manager of the Bay Area Breakers and is struggling to say the team name correctly. So we are we're gonna have to work on that. Okay, you guys, I am back on an MLP team. That's right, I'm on the Bay Area Breakers. Fun fact, we lived in the Bay Area for 4 years, and I'm a true California native, born and raised in SoCal, but I love NorCal. My team is Allyce Jones, Colin Schick, and DJ Young. All right, Kristen, I don't know about you, but that 24 hours of MLP mind games and madness, I'm like still having PTSD over it.
No, all in part of the fun. And it wouldn't be MLP, UPA, PPA if they weren't just writing the rules on the fly by the seat of their pants. Just when you think you have a grasp of everything, we're changing. Let's set the scene.
Set the scene for us.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't realize you were going straight into it.
So where it says on the notes, Kristen,
so
that's when you
KW,
talk.
is that me?
That's you.
So here's the scene. Basically, challenger teams suddenly had the power to miraculously turn their weakest link into their strongest. In other words, you could drop a 4th round pick or whoever you thought was not performing and pick up some of the players that hypothetically, not so hypothetically, would have been 1st round picks. We're calling them what?
Fab Five.
The Fab Five. In other words, Megan Fudge, Yana Newell, Susanna Barr, Bobby
Were
Oshira,
the Beatles
and
the Fab Four?
Yes, the Beatles were the Fab Four.
Well, we're bigger than the Beatles, so that makes sense.
Yeah, well, you technically are one more person. So that does make you bigger.
Okay.
Yeah, so they re-entered the arena, except there's no formal draft. It's free agency. So there's no draft board. There's no application process. It's just phone calls, hush hush, covert. We're thinking this, we're trading for that, and trying to get in line. The order of picks, I found out actually afterwards. I thought it was based on points, but since some of the teams had played more events than others, they went off average points won per match. So if you look at the standings, you'll see that the leading team was like 2.2 points per match, and I think that was Vegas. And the lowest was the Cal Black Bears. So they got the first pick.
Yeah.
And then it went to Chicago. So I was like, how did Chicago not get the first pick? So there you go. But if you didn't want to be on a team that you knew had an earlier pick, you could say no, but if you said no, a different team couldn't then later pick you up until the next waiver wire period.
So what made this 48-hour period so maddening was that no one, including MLP team owners, players, or executives, seemed to actually know the rules. It was a little bit of like making them up as they go plus clarifying them. So this like Fab Five group were being offered cash money to come back and play. And then at the 11th hour, after everyone had basically finished their deals, right? Like I knew Megan was going to Chicago. We knew Miami wanted Bobby. The night before the waiver wire, MLP texts team owners like, you can't pay those girls. You cannot offer those girls money. Absolutely not.
Which is just like, okay, let's get behind the logic of that. Whose incentive is to say you can't pay players? Like the whole thing about moving away from last year's everyone gets a chance at both is that it's free agency now. We're like any league. Like you can, you know, be the Yankees or you can be the Oakland A's with your money ball. You know, you can take different strategies to forming your players at whatever cost you deem them to be valued.
So wild. So the cash gets taken off the table at the 11th hour. And I'm asking myself, like, am I still in? Like, do I want to go do this, add all of these events to my already stacked calendar and like basically for free? And the answer is
we had a real come to Jesus.
Yeah. And like the answer was yes, because at the end of the day, like, this is how I'm going to earn my way in a premier. Like, I'm so tired of people being like, you're a premier talent, you're a premier girl. And I'm going to earn my way in.
Yeah.
You know, I got something to prove. I got a chip on my shoulder.
No, I mean, I couldn't agree more. And we know that Bay Area has been such a great ownership group and so forward thinking and fast moving when it comes to every event in the past. So definitely really excited to be part of the staff.
But the story doesn't end there, guys. It gets wilder. So the next day, which is the waiver wire day, my agent calls me and says, I have some bad news for you. You're not going to get to play on Bay Area. I'm like, why? And he goes, the bouncers have screwed everything up. They're so bummed they can't get one of these Fab Five girls that they're just going to call out a name. They're going to call out Bobby Oshiro. And I'm like, but Bobby's not going to play for them. Bobby only wants to play for Miami. And he's like, yeah, they don't care. And now Miami's pissed because if they don't get Bobby, they're going to say your name. I said, they know I'm not going to play for them. Why would they say my name? And he goes, to remove you from the board. Because if you say no, you can't say yes to someone else. And I go, that's idiotic. They're going to give up their spot, their chance to draft someone and say my name, knowing I'm going to say no to them. And then he goes, yeah, but if you say yes, then they'll hold you ransom, trade you to Bay Area and make Bay Area pay for you. So it was all of these mind games, all of this madness for me as a player, because you start to feel like this, you know, this thing that's being auctioned. So at the last moment possible, Bay Area traded picks to ensure that they got me. So thank you.
So funny.
Thank you.
Well, that was another confusing thing because if you look at the standings, it looks like Bay Area is in third. But if you go off points per match, they're in second. So it looked like Atlanta Bouncers would get the last pick. But in fact, like I said, it was Vegas that got the last pick, Bay Area the second to last. So again, all very confusing. I wonder if they'll change the rules again before the next waiver wire period. But that's the story. And that's what we lived through. So
and
as it turned out, what were you going to say?
Well, what's cool is you're going to be assistant general manager, which I love so much for you. You're already like
we've talked about it
creating
in the past.
spreadsheets. Like, you are such a geek about this stuff. You're so data oriented about MLP. Like, this is perfect for you.
Yeah, no, definitely something I had kind of thought about in the past and wondered if it would be a good fit, but not necessarily. It's like a weird, like, should I be on a team that you're on or help a team that you're not on, or what happens if like you get traded? But I think it's gonna be great, and yeah, super excited to be wearing the blue. Go Breakers!
You might be going to Beer City, and I am not going to Beer City.
Yeah, that'll be determined in the next 48 hours as well. So quick recap. So what happened was that Susanna Barr ended up on Cal Black Bears. Megan Fudge went to Chicago Slice, which is interesting because her husband Ryler had won a super final with Chicago Slice in the past. Bobby Oshiro ended up on Miami. Hashtag Millie Bobby. Jill, of course, ended up on Bay Area Breakers. And Yana Newell ended up on the SoCal Hard Eights. Hashtag Team Russia, because she will be on with Irina. Irina and Yana. So yeah, it'll be a definite different ball game in the challenger pool for the rest of the season.
And so many people have asked, like, well, we don't understand, how can Allyce Jones go from premier to challenger?
It almost has nothing to do with Allyce.
Right. It really doesn't. So the story, as we understand it, is our team owner, who's super smart, Jeff Nguyen, he's going to definitely be on the pod, I think, in the next couple weeks. He drafted Vivian Glozman, always knowing that she would be a powerful trading chip in the future. I think actually told her that the day he drafted her.
Yeah. Vivian Glozman, if you didn't already know, had been premier second half of last season, and then was one of the first picks in this season. In fact, Jeff traded his first pick in the first draft just to get her, I think, number 3.
And so he was able to sell Glozman for a pretty large sum, from what I've heard. I mean, I don't know. He didn't tell me what the number was. I think some people said $100K to DC, which got him in return a very strong woman in Allyce, plus $100,000 to play with, plus doing right by his player, giving Vivian the opportunity to step up.
Yeah, no, and as we saw, Pablo got traded to I think Brooklyn Aces traded for Pablo. So again, it's like, in that case, I think Brooklyn, a challenger team, paying a bunch of money to get a premier player. And then they took Martin Emmerich and then dropped him and picked up Kwang Dong, which is a whole other story, with Utah selling their pick and then no other premiers teams doing absolutely anything. So they traded for a pick that they probably did not need.
And I think the irony of Jeff having this, capital to play with, thinking he's going to go have to buy one of these Fab 5 girls, is, I'm doing it for free, right? So it's like he was able to at least spend to trade the pick. So talk about like really outsmarting the field and things working out well. I think Bay Area is really strongly positioned, and our coach is Scott Crandall, who I've been taking lessons from, who's just amazing. Like, cannot believe how much I've learned from him in a short time. And I think that's also a big reason I wanted to play on that team.
Yeah. No, definitely. They have a lot of great individuals, and we're going to work closely together.
Yeah. So yeah, Jeff was able to strengthen Bay Area's balance sheet while theoretically upgrading his women.
Yeah. Any idea what you think these picks were sold for when people traded for the draft picks?
I heard one pick was for sale for $25,000, but no one was biting at it. So yeah, I wonder how much Jeff had to pay to trade picks. I have no idea.
That one probably varies a lot, because you kind of you know what you're getting, but you don't know what you're getting. So
I think Travis's team was selling his pick, right?
There were, I think, 3 different picks that ended up being traded. All in all.
And the other thing that was interesting was our team took a ton of flack for being ranked 3rd and blowing up 3 out of 4 of their players. And so I want to clarify regarding the men. I think Patrick Kafka is injured. So I think that was a key reason. And DJ Young just happened to be on the board after being waived, and obviously is an amazing player, a veteran player. He's won MLP before. He's in SoCal and can train with me and our coach Scott Crandall. I think there's a lot of natural synergies that made picking up DJ a no-brainer. He's beaten Ben Johns in doubles with Wyatt Stone, and I think most importantly, I was just a guest on his podcast, so that's why.
Totally. So the other interesting thing was that Tim Parks, the owner of SoCal Hard Eights, ended up with 2 picks in the first round. He just only used 1, but he somehow got the pick for 8th and 9th. One from, I think, Brooklyn, and one from SoCal, or from when he gave his pick to Bay Area. So
yeah, Challenger's going to be exciting. Hard. It's going to be hard.
Stuff.
Be tough.
I know. Oh, that just totally changed the landscape.
So what happens to teams that make no changes, which blows my mind. There are teams that made no changes.
Yeah. Pandas doing what pandas do, making no changes. Atlanta kind of makes sense. They are in one form leading the standings, or they're in like third. So I understand them maybe not making any changes. Las Vegas also kept their whole team. As we said, Brooklyn inherited a premier player in Pablo. But yeah, like you said, I mean, a lot of teams in the past that have done nothing, sat on their hands, kind of get passed by because the game changed, the whole pool changed. So I was looking at the standings. Atlanta had Angie Walker, who went 1-7 in the Atlanta, but then redeemed herself and went 4-4 in DC. Johnson Cola went 2-6 in Atlanta and then 2-4 in DC. He plays for the Pandas. Lane Sleeth went 3-3 and 6-4. So I do actually understand keeping Lane Sleeth, even though she was probably the biggest dark horse of the original draft. So exciting to see her get better. And then, Allie Phillips for the Pandas went 3-5 and 3-3. And Martina Frantova went 3-3 and 3-5. So, it's a toss up sometimes with which stats you look at, and games won and points won. If you look at the player standings, they go off points won. So sometimes you'll see someone who went 3-3 ahead in the standings from someone who went 8-4.
And I just have to say, I can't ignore some of the, we've talked a lot about the women entering the draft. We've got to talk about the men. So we've got, or not the draft, entering back into MLP. We have Yates Johnson, Brandon French.
Oh, baby. Chirp.
I saw him yesterday at San Clemente. He said, can't wait for MLP. I mean, can someone please just make sure that he and I are mic'd up when we play against each other?
I'd say yes, but no, that's definitely not going to happen.
Obviously, DJ Young and Noe Cliff. I have no idea who Noe Cliff is, but looking forward to learning more.
Definitely. So tell us what you think. Which teams made the best improvements in the Challenger, and who you think is going to do the best in the next two events, Spears City and then Salt Lake City, followed by Kansas City.
And you can waive players every 2 events.
Correct. So there will be another waiver wire period after Kansas. I'll double check on that.
All right, on to our new segment, Paddle Talk. Paddle Talk. So on June 12th, Joola filed a lawsuit against USA Pickleball in the United States District Court for Maryland to address the actions related to the removal of the Joola Gen 3 paddles from the approved paddle list. Joola says, we firmly believe our Gen 3 paddles are compliant with all applicable published rules as evidenced by their prior approval and should not have been removed from the approved paddle list. We are disappointed that we were forced to resort to legal measures, but after pursuing multiple avenues and attempts to reach a mutually acceptable resolution, we believe the filing of this suit is warranted and necessary. Joola will continue to prioritize the needs of our customers who have been unfairly impacted by USAP's decision as we navigate legal proceedings. We thank our community for its ongoing support as we continue to advocate for our people, our products, and the sport of pickleball. I think the chief accusation is they should have had 18 months to delist. So they should have had a runway. Like I believe Proton has been given their 18-month runway. Now the difference there, because I asked one paddle owner, well, why hasn't Proton been removed and delisted like Joola has or like Rolfes has? And he said, well, Proton hasn't failed a test. And I said, well, that's ridiculous because we know the coefficient of friction on those paddles is 4 times the allotted amount. He said, yeah, but there's no test for that yet. There's just the stare-it test.
So just so you understand, what Jill's saying is that what they test for when it comes to spin isn't spin. It's the depth and the difference between the peaks and valleys of your grit. So a proton paddle, which is basically made like what you see advanced ping pong paddles made of, kind of a foam rubber sort of sticky surface, does not have peaks and valleys. It's dead flat. So that's not going to fail a stare test. What I thought was interesting in their quote was that they say, as evidenced by their prior approval. So what does that mean? That means that they're saying that the other paddles they've submitted are the same. So we have this weird sort of, is it an alpha? What's an alpha? What's a Gen 3 situation going on where it's like they submitted a series of prototypes that they say are materially the same, but one of them USAP is saying is different. But USAP is also saying that the prior version is legal. So you've got Joola saying, no, they're all the same, and USAP saying they're not. But meanwhile, these Gen 3s that are illegal are now being replaced by the previously approved alphas on the Pro Tour that no one can buy in the public marketplace. So what have we really achieved here?
Yeah, and really, what has Joola failed, right? Did they fail deflection testing in this third-party USA Pickleball lab? Why won't USA Pickleball just come out and say, like, this is very clearly why you're being removed? Like, where is that statement? Like, I just want to understand a little bit more, like, this is what you failed. This is why you're being removed.
Yeah. That's definitely, I think, a fair question, and weird that I think USAP hasn't at least come out with some reason. I mean, they could at this point at least just create one, but the way that the actual rulebook is written has that 18 months notice in there, which is like 18 months. I mean, what sports equipment product isn't sunset on its own in 18 months? Who's playing anything that's more than 18 months old out on the pickleball courts that is anyone somewhat serious? These paddles only last like and 3 months.
And it's interesting to see too, so many paddle manufacturers speaking out saying, like, you know, we're in support of USA Pickleball's decision. So Selkirk did a post that said, in pickleball, it has become a common issue that the production models of paddles differ from those that were originally approved in testing. Enforcing the rules and ensuring a level playing field is critical to the current and future integrity of the sport. Basically calling out Joola by saying you submitted some paddles to be tested, and then what you produced out in the wild did not match that.
Yep.
Gamma even coming out with some ads that I think are really interesting for the Obsidian RCF. Play hard, play fair. And I love that.
Yeah.
A little more subtle than Selkirk.
Yeah. Or than Pickle.
So Pickle paddles, Pikkl. Tyre Black and Gabe Tardio play those. We love those owners. Great guys in the Midwest. They did an ad that said, "Dear affected band paddle owners, would you like a paddle that hits hard at a crazy affordable price point? Try Pickle." You know, we didn't talk about on our last pod Sacramento paddle insanity. So I'm sure you guys have heard this on other pods. In Sacramento, players couldn't buy a paddle that could pass. It was really, I think everything was being affected from the heat. So one paddle owner told us that tongue-in-cheek, he was going to buy a branded cooler, fill it with dry ice, and charge $25 per player's paddle who wanted to use it to cool down their paddle.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I don't know if that would work, but it was definitely rampant. And you got to think that the variable of that was the heat. But once the damage is done, I don't think it's reversible.
I agree with that. So once you play in these, you know, the courts, it was like
it's
100
glue.
degrees.
Glue doesn't re-glue itself because it got cold.
Exactly. So you're playing, it's 100 degrees, the concrete making it feel like 120. Your paddle's out in the sun for 2, 3, 4 hours. There's no like bringing that back.
Or a core crush and plastic gets smushed. It doesn't unsmush itself.
So the PPL guys who do the testing told us that even though the stated rule is there's no retesting failed paddles, even though that's the rule, there were so many failures in Sacramento. They stayed overnight and they retested every failed paddle overnight.
Which also goes to show.
They said it was a waste of time.
Yeah.
And they all just
yeah. Do you want to talk about the sticker gate too?
I want to talk about the sticker gate, and I want to grab a paddle I had been playing. So this is a Thrive Blackout paddle, and it has a Pickle Pro Labs sticker. So tell everyone what happened.
Everyone was kind of laughing that James Ignatowicz, the same guy who got called as a hindrance for split stepping too hard, now had another crazy rule where his sticker proving that his paddle was legal fell off into the kitchen, and he got a kitchen violation as if he had like dropped his hat or his glove or his paddle into the kitchen.
Hits an overhead, and the sticker, just like this, if you guys are on YouTube, you can see me. His sticker flies off of his paddle with the force of his overhead into the kitchen. He gets a kitchen violation. So the first thing I said to Kristen when that happened was what?
I forget.
I said, that's not possible. these stickers don't come off. So I'm going to show you what it's like trying to get one of these stickers off.
Start the clock. Boop, 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 boop,
Oh my God.
boop, 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 boop.
Okay.
Hey, there
I
it
just got it off, but you
Well,
can see the
some of it, right? It's
Yeah,
like a UPC label or a sticker from like Walmart or whatever, where half of it stays and half of it goes into like a crosshatch pattern. So really, really interesting
strange.
that his sticker got itself unstuck in the middle of a point.
that is
It's a feat of magic.
literal magic. Like,
You think the heat can do that?
no, I mean, I play these in the heat too. So anyway, that was wild to me. Now I've got sticker and glue on my hand. I can't even get this thing off of my finger now.
Oh no, you're gonna have a foreign substance on your handle now.
You guys, okay, more paddle talk. Progress is being made in pickleball. Huge progress. Because Kristen, tell the Joyriders, where can you now find pickleball paddles?
You can find pickleball paddles at your local TJ Maxx.
way.
We have arrived. I thought it was especially funny. This is probably only me, that the paddles that they were selling happened to be Hurley, which, number one, didn't know Hurley made paddles. But it's specifically funny because we know one of the family members of the original owners of Hurley, who's obsessed with pickleball, Ryan Hurley, and started his own company, Carbon. He's
right,
one
with
of the
Garrett.
founders
Yeah.
with Garrett of Carbon.
That's so funny.
I wonder how he feels walking into TJ Maxx seeing Hurley paddles sold for like $29.99. Two
so
paddles and 4 balls.
Speaking of paddles, we've had so many people reach out to say they bought the Airbender. They're loving it. The throat weights are sick. Fun fact, Gamma submitted open air throat designs to USA Pickleball 8 years ago and got denied. It was actually Selkirk who was able to get the open throat design approved. So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, it does make you wonder how and when they decide to open these floodgates. We've talked obviously before about the Proton face being very similar to a paddle we saw 2 years ago that wasn't legal. So what will be next? What are they banning right now that will be unlegal, undelegalized?
So forgot to mention this in catching up, but yesterday we were at this unbelievable house in Orange County in North Tustin.
Right at the top of this hill, overlooking everything, palm trees, 2 courts.
It was like magic, and it was a rainstorm photo shoot, and it was me and Tyson. We had a drone taking videos and photos. We were playing. We were taking super fun headshots, drinking all the new flavors of Rainstorm. But yeah, that house is like, talk about a dream house.
Yeah. In case you've been wondering about Rainstorm, if you haven't been at any of the pickleball events lately, they're doing a taste test promotion right now. So you can try all the flavors of Rainstorm for free right now. Super cool. Go to, what is it, rainstormtastetest.com.
Oh, wow.
That mango flavor that they just came out with is awesome.
So good. Citrus zest is still my favorite.
I know. You can't beat grapefruit. I just love grapefruit everything.
But yeah, like I'm playing today in my tournament, and I'll definitely have at least one. You know, they're plant-based, 0 sugar. I don't get the jitters like I do from caffeine. And I think it's because in these clean energy drinks, it's coming from more of like a green tea extract.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's the source that keeps it smooth.
Yep.
We have a very special guest on today's pod, a very special friend of ours, Mr. Pat Rolfes. Pat is a co-founder and a co-owner of pickleballsuperstore.com, a co-founder and a co-owner of The Hub Pickleball. He is a major reason pickleball was brought to the Tennis Club of Newport Beach, one of the largest pickleball clubs in the world. Pat, am I missing anything else? Early investor and shareholder in Duper and Major League Pickleball? I mean...
Husband of Jen, father of Reed,
Oh my gosh.
pickleball zealot.
Oh yeah, it's crazy, right? And anyway,
Have you ever
happy anniversary, ladies.
thank
Let's
you.
talk about the important things here.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
way more
you.
important than my, pickleball craziness.
What's older, pickleball at TTC or our relationship?
No, I think it's neck and neck, quite frankly. That's sweet.
So have you ever seen a pickleball product you didn't want to invest in? Walk us through.
That's a great question.
I mean, you have such a diversification of pickleball investments and interests. So just walk us through, like, you were so early seeing the pickleball opportunity. Walk us through how you saw this opportunity and how you decide what to invest in and how you've decided what you've invested in and created.
Well, yeah, thank you. You know, first of all, like I think most people that get into pickleball, it's the passion, and we found it was fun. I was going down the semi-retirement path to my other career, and my wife will tell you that obviously that wasn't going to happen. So
Way too restless for that.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you going to take up golf?
Yeah, ooh, no. Maybe a lesson from you.
Thankfully not.
Yeah. So, yes, we just fell in love with it, and you know, being an entrepreneur, you know, I'm the youngest of 5, and you know, raised from an entrepreneur, and my whole family are entrepreneurs. You know, honestly, pickleball is just a playground for entrepreneurs. And back in 2017, which I feel like a grandfather in this industry, you know, there was just a ton of opportunity. There still is, obviously, but it really was the impetus to, you know, start thinking, you know, critically and creatively.
Yeah.
I feel like anyone who started pickleball before COVID deserves some kind of like extra gold star, right? You're not like, oh, one of those COVID people. You were really there beforehand. So 2017, what did the pickleball landscape even look like then?
Well, not much. So the story, I'll make it real quick, but my father-in-law came back from Indian Wells, and I was like, honey, where's your dad? Oh, he went to the desert. You know, 79-year-old men go to the desert. And he came back.
And by the way, so do 30-something women.
Exactly. And I need to go to the desert. And anyway, came back with silver medal from nationals, and I'm like, nationals? You know, he's in what, pickleball? You know, and just like everybody else, and then it started, and the tennis club at Newport Beach had 4 courts at the time, and Jennifer and I live across the street. We'd walk over, they turn the lights on, we'd play singles, we'd leave, they shut the lights off, we'd walk home. That was our date night. So from there, it just, you know, went nutty. Just nutty with the opportunities, and it's been a fun ride, and it's not over by any stretch of the imagination.
And do you have a favorite child in this portfolio of pickleball?
So I put them on a totem pole, right? And so depending of the day and how
which one's costing you money and which one's making you money?
Exactly. And so they all have to compete on a daily basis. Let's put it that way.
But right now you've got the hub with 3 locations, correct? Or 2 and 1 coming?
No, 3 locations.
3 locations and the 4th coming.
And a 4th coming. We're the largest in California.
Wow.
Very large scale clubs. One in San Diego, which is our first, largest in the county, and 26 courts. And we have the largest indoor, was in the country, in Silicon Valley.
Wow.
Someone's beat us now. Darn it. No, I'm kidding. But that's a great facility. And then we just opened Alameda, which is right on the bay in San Francisco. We bought a fitness company in an old naval hangar. It's an amazing facility. And we have full fitness as well as pickleball.
So I haven't been there yet, but I understand it's my new training headquarters.
I think it is. Welcome to the Breakers. We're the home of the Bay Area Breakers and the Hub Alameda. It's you're going to love it.
Cool.
We'll put your picture up there larger than life. It'll be fantastic.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
I know. And then
I love a good cardboard cutout.
Oh, no. This is like real life banner
plaster
stuff. It's huge. I mean, literally, it'll be, you know, a 20-foot image of Jill. How about that?
That's the stuff nightmares are made out of.
You're going to love it. And then we're the home of the Hard Eights down in San Diego. So we're doing a little rivalry thing, SoCal versus NorCal. And
that's great.
It's super fun. And all our members get behind it. It's
only the best team owners right there. I mean, that's a great group.
You know, they really are. And in fact, Rick Chan, who owns the Hard Eights, he is our 4th partner. He just came onto the Hub, and so he's actually a partner with us at the Hub. And he's, you know, just a really super smart guy, a nice guy, and being part of the Hard Eights. And anyway, it's been a really fun journey for us.
So a lot of our pod listeners, a lot of people in general in pickleball have a dream of opening a facility. I know I've had that dream. What's easy about it? What's hard about it? What don't people understand about opening up a facility and actually having it be successful?
Well, first of all, I'll caution everybody, if you want to, play pickleball because you love it, don't get in the pickleball industry, right? So
Jill says that all the time.
I say it all the time. So when I would interview people at Duper and I go, why do you want to work for Duper? I love pickleball. I go, so you want to take a hobby and turn it into a requirement? Let's just be really clear about this.
The thing that helps you survive your rough work life, the thing that gives you mental clarity at the end of the day, you want to turn that into your stressor.
Well, and lack thereof of playing it, it's just because it's all consuming. But so, owning clubs is good news, bad news, right? I mean, it's fantastic, the people you meet, the lives you change, I know thousands of people now in the connections that we've made with it, and from love connections of people meeting together, from helping, mental health issues, just seeing young kids develop, and it's been, really rewarding from that. It's super hard. Finding the land, finding the buildings.
So I would think the real estate is the hardest part about it.
It's the hardest part, yeah, and expensive. So the capital
investments. Do you
investments,
own all the land, or do you do lease?
So we don't. So we own San Diego. We own the land in San Diego, and so that one we own outright. The other two we lease, or the three now, we lease the land, long-term leases, and but they're hard deals.
One of them was built out of what used to be like a Fry's Electronics, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It was the back warehouse section. It's a huge building, like 50, 60,000 square feet. We have around 70,000 square feet and 20 courts in it. So again, hard deals to do.
Are you finding these as off-market deals, or are they on the MLS?
So no, they're all off market.
Wow.
Yeah. So just going to.
I'm imagining you on Google Maps late at night, like.
No, we've been fortunate. I knew the owner of our Silicon Valley facility.
Oh, nice.
And so he reached out to us after seeing our San Diego club, and he's involved with Newport, and so he asked me to go look at the building. So I flew up there and looked at the building in Silicon Valley and did that deal. It was a really unique, hard deal. And again, this is a little bit before the time of the rush to, make clubs, right? So this was a big risk at this point in time. And then the same with Alameda. They reached out to us to basically see how we could put a deal together. That was another difficult deal. We actually bought the club. It was a fitness club. We rent the building, but we bought the club. And so it came with 1,400 fitness members already. And it had indoor soccer, which we removed, and we added indoor pickle and outdoor pickleball courts.
How many of those members stayed on?
We lost about 100 fitness members. Since then, we've gained them all back once we rebuilt the club and everything.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we're pushing about 2,000 members up there.
So after you acquire and figure out the land play, what is then the hardest part?
Well, I'll tell you the fun part.
Yeah, tell me the fun part.
For me and my partner, Ted Angelo, who's quite good at it, is the building part. So it's kind of fun in the creative side of me to kind of lay out the courts and figure out how it works. And,
Do you do that yourself? You don't hire a consulting firm?
We do all the development ourselves.
See, that's why it's right.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a total game changer to have the expertise to understand what makes sense.
And how to, mitigate sound, how the traffic flows, just the whole thing. It's harder than it sounds.
No, I didn't notice.
I enjoy that part of it, so it's fun. And then all the systems, procedures, policies, everything wraps around. You get your computer programming, you have your security, just on and on and on. And then the programming of, we're not a public park, right? We're a club. So then you got to have complete programming. So it's quite intense to train people, to operate it, to put it all together. And again, pickleball came from the streets, right? So people are used to playing for free, right? I can go to my local park and play for free. Why am I paying you anything?
Yeah. Are all of your monetization models the exact same across the hub, or is it regional?
Yeah, it's a little bit regional, but what we say is basically our model is, essentially 90% is the same, and 10% is the heartbeat of the club.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Keeping that local
vibe and
local
culture,
it's local
different
habits.
Exactly, and different economics in different areas where they're at, and but more the vibe and everything else. So, but yeah, caution. It's harder than it sounds, and I know there's a lot of franchisors out there, selling their franchisees, which I'm interested to see how that works from a long-term approach. I was
just going to ask you. So it sounds like you have been getting approached by people saying, "Hey, come do a hub at my piece of land or my fitness club." Are you getting asked for franchise opportunities?
Yeah, we have a lot of people asking us about, will we franchise? We have a lot of people asking us, build one here, build one there. We self-funded the whole thing, so this isn't something that we I don't know if we'll do a franchise model or not. Probably not. We'll do investments. We'll work with some people that make sense in the future. We're, as a partners, my partners are talking about what this looks like and everything else. We just want to make sure it's all right. Keep the brand really strong. Make sure
before scaling any further.
Yeah, just make sure it's all. We're doing the right things, and we're really big on policies and systems and procedures and trying to hone this all together and profitability and making sure that it works. And so that's my concern of this big rush to market for so many is I believe there'll be a lot that fail. I believe there's models that don't work.
It's just Pat and the APP building the two only profitable businesses in pickleball.
There you go, right? Well, profitability matters, come to find out, right?
Yeah, it helps, right?
It does help.
Just keep raising more money.
Yeah, well, that's another approach.
You're in Silicon Valley now. That's the way.
Yeah, and I hear about that often, actually.
Grow faster,
so tell us
model.
about Florida. Where in Florida?
In Jacksonville.
Okay.
Fun fact, I went on a recruiting trip to the whatever they are, University of Jacksonville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did not go there.
Okay. So we are building a really...
But it's like the north kind of East Coast, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're almost in South Carolina.
It has a NHL team and an NFL team, and it's a good-sized city, and it's great. And my partner Ted Angelo moved out there, bought a house, and so he's building it. And I don't know if you've ever seen Pictona or examples of it, but it's kind of a covered facility. So we'll have...
a little bit rainproof, but not completely indoors. But you don't have a ceiling problem. I find a lot of the indoor facilities I've gone into have a roof rule, and you're like, oh, I can't hit a defensive lob because I'm going to run into the roof. But
unless you go to the hub.
If you go to the hub,
we have a 40-foot ceiling and a 34-foot ceiling.
Okay.
So it can even handle my lobs, actually. So, but yeah, Jacksonville, we're building it a little bit different, where it's more of, like you said, like the roof kind of catapults out, so it's kind of an indoor-outdoor effect. It's very cool.
Cool. That sounds awesome. And it sounds like you guys are putting a ton of thought into how you are building these courts, which you said might be like a little bit of a secret sauce, because when I was talking to Bahram Akradi, the brilliant founder of Lifetime, and there's no one who's invested more money in pickleball in the past 3 years than really Lifetime.
Right.
Almost $500 million in the creation of courts and the changing from gyms to pickleball courts, having to have those hard conversations with some of their members.
Yep.
And he said, we are building courts to last a long time. We're not throwing down lines on a warehouse floor right now like every Tom, Dick, and Harry who can make a quick buck in pickleball, because you can make a quick buck. People need courts. It is the existential threat to pickleball is lack of courts. But I think he's thinking about it long term, building the right walkways, the right visibility, people able to look and see, and, enough runway behind you and to the side of you. And it sounds like at the hub, you guys are building great courts. And how much does that matter to the members that are coming in? Are they happy to play on anything?
Yeah, well, 100% it matters. And he's right by, his philosophies of doing it. Now, the execution that we do is, top notch. So we really focus on that and have a plan and from mitigating sound to the coloring to the spaces to the traffic flow to the whole thing. But the courts themselves, they have to be professional size, proper courts, because you may want to learn and you'd be okay to learn pickleball on a substandard court. But once you start playing, it doesn't work anymore.
I feel the same. Yeah.
And once you start paying, like you said, if you want a substandard experience, go get it for free at the crappy park down the street. But if you want something that's next level, you're going to have that extra reason to want that membership, to want the reserve of a court, to have barriers on both sides, all four sides, to have a decent restaurant, decent restroom. rooms.
You're
Tell us
exactly
more
right.
about like how you prioritize what matters at a membership level, and like what obstacles you've come from with people wanting pickleball to be kind of free. Like what matters most to your members?
Well, again, it's a club environment. Is for us is the first step, right? So like in San Diego, we have a fire pit, and we have a center court with a beautiful sail across it. It's amazing facility. And in Silicon Valley, we have, huge gathering areas with AstroTurf down, or, yes, I'm aging myself, so artificial turf. And, just we're doing everything right. We have event rooms and things to really have the flow of it, have, it done in a way where people feel comfortable to say, this is my club. I'm just not going to find a court to play on. And then organize it.
So you want them to change their mentality from, I'm here to play pickleball, to a culture of, this is where I come to spend time.
Right. And if you do that, Jill, and if you do that correctly, they take ownership of it.
Interesting.
Right? And so they pick up the trash, or they don't leave their stuff around. And so now it becomes their club. They want to spend their birthdays there, and then their celebrations and their corporate events, and, all these type of things. Now, again, it's hard to create this culture and everything else, because essentially that's what you're doing. But once you do that, the business that we've created become a little bit more sustainable, and people are enjoying it a lot more, for sure.
Is your retention really high?
Our retention's super high, and so we're really lucky with that. And I think that's partly because of the locations that we've chosen.
I was going to say both or all three are like very crowded and difficult to find areas for courts. It's not like, where I live, within 9 minutes of our house, there's like 5 different facilities that have more than 12 courts. Most people do not have that as an option.
Right.
So then their option, they're like, well, once I'm going to pay, I have something awesome to call home, that it looks nice, it's clean, it's taken care of, and it feels like where I came from, the world of golf, where people are used to spending thousands and thousands of dollars on their sport. You're going to start to see, I think, a lot more converts from that who are like, oh, wow, compared to golf, this is cheap. And if you give them something that's nice, that feels like that home away from home, I think you're really onto something.
Well, it's part of it, right? And organized and structured. And so, if you're new to pickleball and you walk on a public court, like, good luck. It's aggressive out there.
And it's intimidating.
It's intimidating. And so we, shepherd them through, and we have, again, organized play, and we use Duper. And so, that is just part of it. But the locations are key. I mean, Silicon Valley, for example, we have 1,200 members. You just can't duplicate it. It's just not available.
Totally.
Go find a building that's 70,000+ square feet in the heart of Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Good luck.
So you mentioned that most of your facilities are like pocket listings, not necessarily something you've gone out and just found on the MLS. You're opening in Jacksonville. If someone had a location that would be perfect for you in mind, would you want them to reach out? Are you looking to continue finding new locations?
Yeah, again, the curse of an entrepreneur, right? So
he's trying to turn it off. He can't.
I wish I could say no, but I mean, deals are deals, right?
Right.
So it's.
Do you want us to put a landing
address
page in the description?
Oh my gosh, no need.
All right. Send your inquiries to thispblife@gmail.com, and we will direct them to Pat.
Oh
we'll do that for a flat fee of a 20% commission.
Yeah, that's what you should. That's what you should.
So I have to imagine that one of the headaches, we talked about the fun stuff, that maybe one of the headaches you have at the hub is you've got people spending time and you've got people spending money, and something they might be spending money on are paddles. And I know that the hub was a major provider of Joola, and you've sold a ton of Gen 3 paddles, and so that has affected you from the perspective of co-ownership of the hub, also Pickleball Superstore. So I want to hear all about that.
Yeah. So a couple of things. One is I'll start with your specific question about Joola. That was a very difficult and challenging time for us. So with Pickleball Superstore and how we do it at the Hub, we created what we call virtual pro shop. So if you own a facility, you can buy from Pickleball Superstore at a wholesale level, and basically from a Hub perspective, it makes it a lot easier because we carry tons of different products. We demo 80 different paddles. We would never carry that many paddles. So we drive them through Pickleball Superstore in our demo program and everything else. Now, the top selling paddles we'll bring in. So in the case of Joola, we brought them into the Hub and we sold them. Yeah, it was a complete nightmare. So, we offer 100% refunds back, right? You can't sell a product that says it's approved and then it's not approved. And so that became a big issue. And when you think about it, so, we're bringing that paddle back in, we're issuing the money back. We have to unwind the sales tax. We have to, it's not just the financial transaction, it's all of the things that go along with it that, you got to unwind essentially to make the customer happy. Because at the end of the day, we're a service company. From there, we sent it back to Pickleball Superstore, which we bought it from. We didn't buy it directly from Joola in our particular case. So Pickleball Superstore was our distributor through our virtual pro shop model. And then Pickleball Superstore had to basically eat the freight coming back, re-inventory it all. And they gathered it and then they sent it back to Joola to ultimately get a credit back. So from the idea of it all, it was just an overwhelming task to unwind the whole thing. And for us at Pickleball Superstore, as well as the Hub, it's all about customer service, right? So at the end of the day, we got to do the right thing. And at the end of the day, Joola will do the right thing. They haven't been difficult to deal with necessarily. It's just such a bummer. It was just so difficult to go through the process.
Well, and for it to happen to like the hottest selling paddle ever in the history of the game. It's not just like, this niche paddle that a few people bought. No, it was like wildfire.
It was volume. I think we're one of 3 or 4 e-commerce platforms that Joola has chosen to carry the product. Tyson McGuffin is on our cap table. He's one of the face of the company, so obviously we put a big energy.
Pickleball Superstore.
A Pickleball Superstore.
So you probably sold a bunch of Magnus paddles.
Tons of that. A big focus with on that. So it was part of a whole strategy that we have with this. So there's a lot to unwind. And plus we have, not to interrupt you, Joe, but
go ahead.
We have one of our differentiators at Pickleball Superstore is that we have exclusive technology with our super affiliate program. So if you are a super affiliate, you get a percentage of the sale and you're linked to the customer forever. That's the difference of us. It's not a cookie-based affiliate program. You're actually embedded in our programming and you're linked to the customer,
which is so cool.
Oh, it's huge. It's a game changer. It's our differentiator. So we ate that. We're not going back to our, people that were getting a percentage, our affiliates, we ate that.
Oh my goodness.
That's just the cost. We just can't go back to them and say, you owe us, $4,000.
You drove a sale, but that sale got in reversed. So you're back out.
What a nightmare.
That's very tricky.
It's just part of the whole, deal. So anyway, that wasn't overly fun.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, with that said, Chris and I did bring you a gift.
Ooh, I like gifts. I got gifts too. Let's see.
If you're looking for a paddle manufacturer.
We sell this product. I love this product.
Well, this product
is special. There is not many of these. It's a 13. These aren't released till November.
I was going to say we sell Gamut, but I haven't seen this one. Oh my God.
That's the Airbender 13. And then we brought you
Shockbuster technology.
Well, look at that. That's like custom molded and
so the lower hole, actually the Shockbuster is a vibration dampener, but if you pop it out, there comes with a kit that you can throw weight in that space, right in the throat of your paddle.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah, I'm an engineer by education, so I love this. And look at that.
Yeah, fun fact, Gamma actually designed paddles with a hole in it way before anyone else, and they weren't ready to approve them yet. And so now, upside down.
Well, that is very fun.
And then we brought end cap as well.
Quiet balls.
Ooh.
Those are called the librarian.
So my wife will sit and hit balls in our living
There you
room
go.
wall the whole time. So
There you go.
this is perfect.
And then in here are some Chuck balls and Rainstorm energy drinks. So this is
Thank
from
you.
us to you. We know you've had a hard
Wow,
couple weeks with all of this.
Thank you. This is awesome. Well, I have a couple of presents for you. So
Really?
we'll get into some presents. So first of all, Pickleball Superstore shirts. I only have them in small, and you girls are extra small. But anyway, there you go. You can sleep in them.
it.
Oh, they're soft. Thank
And
you.
and a hub towel,
level.
and we have some. I don't know who's the visor and who's the hat girl, but here you go.
Thank you.
Imperial, Colorado company. Nice.
So, but no, it's great, and like I said earlier, this is just an entrepreneur's playground. And when I look at this Gamma paddle and the technology that's coming out, this is the type of stuff that I'm talking about. It goes on, and there's just tons of opportunity that's out there.
So you've developed some paddle technology that I want to hear about.
Well, yeah. So I'm going to give more credit to my partner Ken Tran. So Ken was one of the owners of Takea, and this is north of $100 million company that he just sold it to his back to his partners. And so he's coming out with Titan Pickleball.
Wow.
And this is titanium infused carbon, which is amazing. It's got a dual core technology to this. And so it's not on the market yet, but in Ken style, and I'm part of the company, but in Ken style, he's creating bags and balls. And I got to show you this because this is really
nice. I like the grip.
This is very unique as well as people get into the ball industry. So feel this.
Fun.
Okay. Feels like a ball.
Does it feel the outside
like
of
a
it?
Oh, it's fuzzy. Oh,
Yeah.
it's fuzzy. It's felt.
It's got a special coating on it that does two main things. One is it creates additional spin, right? Because that's part of the whole thing is the additional spin, but also it reduces sound.
Fuzzy.
Ooh, fuzzy.
Right. So I was thinking about that with the advent of those owl paddles. Why not put that fabric on the ball? There you go.
There you go.
That's so fascinating to see all the different dampening techniques, like, Gamma's librarian, right? It's like a softer feel, but that feels like a pickleball with just a felt surface.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
interesting.
Yeah, it's all yeah, there you go.
Go ahead, Kristen.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh, you too. Oh my.
That feels like a pickleball.
All right.
We're going to break
No
something.
balls in the
Someone's
house.
gonna
No
get it.
balls in the house.
And then here's my latest company and invention.
Oh my God, you're such an inventor.
So what's missing in the field out there is pickleball paddle racks. And so if you spin it, it actually locates in, and it'll support a thick or a thin or whatever. And then we tie it to Pickleball Superstore with our super affiliate program. So whoever hangs this in your club or city, you get everybody gets a discount, but then they get commission back to it. So this is a revenue generator as well. But it's all custom molded, and in my other career, I used to do a lot of molding, and so basically I was able to create
this
it.
is a paddle rack for facilities to actually generate some revenue on paddle sales.
That's exactly right.
Wow. Pat.
Yeah, and glasses and the 2,400 other SKUs that we sell as well. So, yeah.
So I'm kind of starting to see how all these these various products and businesses that you're involved in have a synergy.
Well, good luck
Was
because it's all wrapped in my mind. But yeah, the idea is that basically, again, it's an entrepreneur's playground. So, and just like you guys, you've created so many businesses with Pickleball Gods and PB Gods and your pod and all the other things that you're doing. So I mean, it's fun to see different ways to do it. For me, having the courts I think is super important.
Yeah.
For me, having the distribution with Pickleball Superstore is super important. From there, the creation of paddles, the creation of other products, it's easier to get it out into the marketplace because we have full-blown distribution.
Yeah.
And so building all those those companies is allowing us to do other things.
So
basically.
fun. I'm dying to see this bag. What is this bag?
Oh my gosh! So
Kristen and I are bag nuts.
Oh my,
I am a total bag nut.
So this one is crazy. So anyway, It holds shoes.
Oh my
It
God.
holds some god-awful amount of paddles.
For the true pickleball addicts.
Right.
That's
Okay, count how many
amazing.
paddles are in there.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that's
there's
six
but I
right
think it'll
now.
hold-
But
then
there's room for like at least 3 more.
Oh, for sure. And then there's
And then
a-
the bag drop bottom. Can that fit paddles too? Maybe not.
Right. And then Ken's making bottles as well, stainless steel bottles, and on and on. There's a place to put your wallet and laptops and blah blah blah. Anyway, very very cool, and just
That is a beautiful bag.
Yeah,
I will give credit where
and show them
credit's
the back
due.
too, because the padding is epic on this side. I think a lot of people make a lot of choices in bags, and they're like pockets here and zippers here, but they forget you have to wear this thing,
Right.
And it gets heavy.
Right.
And it's like they make these amazing bags, and then you put them on your back, and
That's
they
like
hurt.
Yeah, that's like the back of the
So-
ruck pack. That was great.
And if you know, and I'm sure you're familiar with the Kea and the stainless bottles, that was again all Ken, building that company, and his mindset is technology and quality first.
Yeah.
And so everything he does is, is just super high quality. And
So Takea was in paddles. They sponsored Riley Newman, Lindsay Newman, AJ Kohler, and then my understanding is Takea, the business was like, well, we don't really want to be in pickleball. Let's focus back to our core product, which is these, hydro flasks.
correct.
So then Ken got out
Correct.
and came to you and was like, let's build paddles.
Sort of. So first of all, Ken's one of my original partners in the hub, and so we've been together for a long time. I think I was the first person he ever played pickleball with in Newport back in the day, right? My brother Tom and I went to go warm up for a tournament in Seal Beach that we were playing in. Let's just go and hit some balls
If
first.
that's not evidence for going to the courts, you never know who you're going to meet. It's
Right?
like lifelong friend and business partner.
And he's an amazing guy. So anyway, that's our story. And then he invested into the hub, and then he was investing into. Then much later, he started investing into pickleball at Takea, and his partners and him didn't see eye to eye. And so basically, long story short, he's out at Takea and started Titan Pickleball. And so I'm involved with this at a small level. And but really, it's Ken's driving the ship on that, which is great. Amazing man.
All right,
Very
I think
cool.
here's my feedback on the paddle. I think the T on it looks like Thrive. He's got to be careful.
It does have to be
that
careful.
is true.
That looks like Thrive advertising.
Well, we'll see what he comes
When I
up
saw it
with.
on your desk, I was like, oh, a Thrive paddle on your desk.
That's funny.
So that would be my feedback, but it's a beautiful paddle.
Yeah, and it's neat. This titanium infused
Yeah,
concept is, to last long, and it's just nice, like you're seeing with Gamma and the others. It's just nice to see new technology come to market, and and there's just more and more of it. It's fun to see. I just want to distribute everything at Pickleball Superstore, so there we go.
So
the
give us
joy.
a sneak peek into what is the next product or business in your brain and all of your free time, that ample spare time that you have, Pat.
Oh my gosh.
You wake up at 2 a.m, right?
Yeah. Do I sleep? I sleep like a baby. You know what, Jill? It's more the opportunities of what we've built
Within
it that now, like, so for example, with these clubs we just brought on, like we talked about, the barrier breakers and the hard eights, and so the opportunities that we create with that, and when we brought them on to the hub as the home of each one, we did it with the mindset of value to them, value to our members, value to our brand, and so like that became is becoming almost a business of itself. And so we're creating other things, like down in San Diego. I'll announce it because it's going to be kind of fun. So we're going to be doing Friday night Fives showcase, and so we're going to be filming it in YouTube Live. Rob Cassidy is one of our, resident pros down there. So, he's going to be my assistant on the mic. I won't let him actually take it over. I'm good on the mic, everybody. And
That's going to be tough with Rob.
But the concept is, and we'll do it up north as well, the concept is all of these local 5-0 players can come down and they can beat each
I get
other
it.
up.
That's
Friday
five.
night fives.
Friday
That's
night
brilliant. With a
fives.
little bit of prize money?
We'll see how it goes, but really, the kicker is that once a quarter, with how the winners go, and we'll kind of figure out the structure. They actually get to play in front of the owners and with the professional teams to give them kind of an opportunity to showcase themselves and potentially maybe make one of the teams. So you'll be playing with the local fives, and
I love that.
Yeah, right. And gives them an opportunity, like
another pathway system, kind of like minor league pickleball, but it gives it a whole element of relevancy.
Right, and kind of makes it fun. So we're going to showcase them on YouTube Live and all that kind of fun stuff. But then ultimately they get to compete with the pros, and you never know what comes of it. Not all of them can, commit to going to all the APPs or some of the PPAs or all that kind of stuff. So this gives, kind of a fun way to do it. And it's fun for our club, and people can buy a beer or a glass of wine and watch them. Wow. And, it creates this. So now I'm trying to create all these synergies within what we build with our ecosystem, is what we call it, our ecosystem of companies. And so it's been great. It's fun.
Yeah, no, I know a lot of the scouting for a lot of the teams, even, it's hard to find adequate footage of some of these up-and-coming players. So it's yet another place where you can be live streamed and be shown in real competition, not just like some highlight reel on your Instagram. So
Yep, and it means something, right? They get an opportunity to go now play with the pros. And that's, we just had Jay DeVilliers down in San Diego, and we did the 3ME down there, which is, super fun. And the amount of people that just want to play with pros to just test their skills is a lot. It's fun for them. So it'll be a fun little thing to do. There's a little sneak for you.
That's great. So cool, Pat. You are definitely, if not the most creative person in pickleball, one of the most creative people in pickleball. So I'm so appreciative.
It's rare to see someone who has both vision and execution, and you have both in spades.
Well, thank you, but I got to highlight my partners Steve Rack and Ted Angelo and Ken Tran and Rick Jan.
Absolutely.
It's not the Pat Rolfes show by any means. I'm good on the mic, but other than that, I have great partners, and they all work super hard, and everyone contributes. And everyone has this, we're on the same page and the same vision. And
attracts and having the right partners in the right entities, you're the middle of the Venn diagram and keep the glue together. So
there
really
you go.
Cool.
We'll start doing ergonomics, or what's the little fold thing to make the bird? Never mind.
Well, thank you.
Origami.
Ergonomics. I like that. Pat, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for our amazing pickleballsuperstore.com hats. You guys, if you have not started shopping on pickleballsuperstore.com yet, you are definitely missing out.
And Jilly B, official affiliate. We do have a Jilly B code on there as well. So
we need to put a little page for you, actually. Let's get the whole Jilly B page.
It's like,
now that we're going to be, we have Gamma and the whole thing. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's get Gamma at the hub.
Let's do it. I'm all about
USAP
it.
approved paddle.
Ooh,
that will remain.
I heard those are hard to get.
They are very hard to get. No, Pat, thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, thank you both.
We love you.
And happy anniversary, both of you.
Yes, thank you. And thanks so much for listening, guys. I hope you enjoyed, Pat.
Oh, you're sweet.
And so, Pat, if our listeners have any questions, leave you alone.
Ask us, and we will decide what's good enough to ask you.
Pat's not ending this with his email address.
Let's not do that. No, love it. Thanks, everybody.
So that's Pod 44. It's a wrap. And don't forget, pickleball is joy.
Don't let anyone tell you differently.
We out.
We out.
This pickleball life.
You guys, we have some special mentions. Happy birthday to Dr. Eric Guida, June 1st. Eric, thank you for being a super fan and for getting your friend Jason Lettix to listen to the pod, who we also want to wish a very, very happy birthday. His birthday was June 7th. Eric, you've been a longtime pod listener and you're waiting for your Gamma Airbender. You are literally the best.
Thank you.
Test, test, test. I hope I'm not blown out. Blown up like you knew I would. Same number, same club. It's all good.